وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُّدَّكِرٍ.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the new episode of the Madinah Arabic short tutorial series. This is part 2 of lesson 9 of book 1. Today we'll go over the main text of the lesson inshallah. But before we do that, let me give you a quick introduction to a special subcategory of ism type words in Arabic. If you remember, in our video for lesson 4 of this book, we learned that the ism in Arabic can take 3 different cases depending on its function in a sentence. And they were marfu', mansub, and majroor. For example, let's take the ism mujtahidun, hard-working. In marfu' case, it is mujtahidun. In mansub case, it is mujtahidan. And in majroor case, it is mujtahidin. So the marfu' ism ends with dhamma, mansub ends with fatha, and majroor gets kasra. Also notice they all are ending with tanween because this ism is nakira or indefinite. If you don't remember all these, I suggest you to revisit our video for book 1, lesson 4 and part 2. Because this ism mujtahidun takes 3 distinct vowel endings for 3 different cases, we refer to this type of ism as DIPTOTE. In other words, DIPTOTEs are the ism that can fully decline to 3 different cases with dhamma, fatha, and kasra. And the majority of the ism in Arabic are DIPTOTEs. But there is another smaller subcategory of ism called DIPTOTE. As an example, let's take the ism kaslanu, which means lazy. In marfu' case, it is kaslanu. In mansub, it is kaslana. And in majroor case, it is still kaslana. So the first distinction that we can tell about the DIPTOTEs from DIPTOTEs is that the DIPTOTEs do not take tanween. This ism kaslanu doesn't start with al article. So kaslanu is actually nakira. But even in nakira form, DIPTOTEs cannot take tanween. The second difference is that DIPTOTEs in majroor case end with fatha, just like in mansub case. So DIPTOTEs partially decline. They can take 2 distinct vowel endings. Dhamma for marfu' case and fatha for mansub and majroor cases. And that is why they are called DIPTOTE. Compare these 2 categories to mabni ism, like ماذا, what. In all cases, whether it is marfu', mansub or majroor, this ism stays as ماذا, with no change in ending. So the DIPTOTE ism fully declines. DIPTOTE partially decline. And mabni doesn't decline. It is indeclinable ism. Again, the majority of ism in Arabic fully decline. So they are DIPTOTEs. DIPTOTEs are the smaller subcategory of ism. Mabni is also a smaller subgroup. But mabni words are frequently used like ismul ishara hada, ذلك, ismul istifham like ma, ماذا, man, aina, and so forth. Now the question is, how can we tell if the ism is a DIPTOTE or a DIPTOTE? DIPTOTEs actually follow a few distinct patterns. And we'll learn about many of those patterns in the last 2 lessons, lesson 22 and lesson 23 of this book inshallah. In this lesson 9, we will learn a single pattern of DIPTOTEs, which is fa'lanu, as in kaslanu. Now let's open page 49 of the book and take a look at exercise 4. Here we have a few more examples of DIPTOTE ism that follow the pattern fa'lanu. The first one is what we already know, kaslanu, lazy. Then we have jaw'anu, which means hungry. The next is atushanu, thirsty, atushanu. Ghadbanu means angry, ghadbanu. And mal'anu means full, mal'anu. So all of these ism are DIPTOTEs. Try to recognize their pattern. Fa'lanu, as in kaslanu, jaw'anu, atshanu, ghadbanu, and mal'anu. Next we have a few example sentences. أنا جوعان. I'm hungry. Compare this sentence to أنا مريض. I am sick. Both مريض and جوعان are nakira here. But because جوعان is a diptote, it doesn't accept tanween at the end. The next sentence is أأنت جوعان؟ لا أنا عطشان. Are you hungry? No, I'm thirsty. The next one is لماذا المدرس غضبان اليوم? Here لماذا means why. It is a combination of حرف لي and اسم الاستفهام ماذا. So it literally translates as for what. ماذا here is coming in place of مجرور اسم because it is coming after حرف جر لي. But because it is mabni, it doesn't change its ending. The question is, why is the teacher angry today? Here we are seeing another new word after غضبان, the ism al-yawma, today. This is a triptode ism. It can be al-yawmu, al-yawma, and al-yawmi. So here in this sentence, it is coming as mansub with fatha ending as al-yawma. Can you tell why it is mansub? Because it is ظرف, indicating the time of the teachers being angry. That is why. And the final sentence is al-kubu mal'anu. The cup is full. The ism mal'anu is marfu' and nakira here, but it doesn't end with tanween. Compare it, for example, to a sentence al-kubu maksurun. The cup is broken. Maksurun is triptode. That is why it carries its nakira sign, which is tanween. That is the end of this exercise. Here we learned one group of diptotes that follow the pattern fa'lanu and witnessed one aspect of diptotes, which is that they cannot carry tanween even in nakira form. Now let's go back to the beginning of the lesson and go through the main text on pages 47 and 48. من هذا الرجل? Who is this man? هو عباس. He is Abbas. عباس تاجر. Abbas is a trader. These are all ismiya sentences that we are well familiar with. Now comes the na'at. Abbas tajirun ghaniyun. Abbas is a rich trader. Can you tell which ism is functioning as the na'at or adjective here? Ghaniyun, right? And the ism that is being qualified is tajirun, which is also the khabar of the sentence. And Abbasun is the mubtada. The next couple of sentences are Hamidun mudarrisun. Hamid is a teacher. Hamidun mudarrisun jadidun. Hamid is a new teacher. In both of these sentences, Hamidun is mubtada and mudarrisun is its khabar. In the second sentence, jadidun is coming as na'at for mudarrisun. So the ism mudarrisun is functioning as both khabar and man'ut. Next, ما هذا? هذا تفاح. تفاح means an apple. In the next sentence, we have التفاح فاكهة لذيذة. Here, التفاح is the mubtada. فاكهة is the khabar. And فاكهة لذيذة is a man'ut and na'at combination meaning a delicious fruit. So together, التفاح فاكهة لذيذة means the apple is a delicious fruit. Here we are seeing that لذيذة is mu'annath with ta marbuta because the ism فاكهة is mu'annath. Next we have ما ذلك. ذلك عصفور. العصفور طائر صغير. What is that? That is a sparrow. So عصفور means a sparrow and طائر means a bird. In the next sentence, العصفور طائر صغير. We are saying the sparrow is a small bird. Here, طائر صغير is a man'ut and na'at combination. طائر is also the khabar of the sentence, and al-usfuru is the mubtada. Moving on. Al-Arabiyyatu lughatun sahlatun. Arabic is an easy language. Sahlatun is easy, and it is the na'at coming in mu'annath gender. And the reason for that, as you may have guessed, is because the man'ut lughatun is mu'annath. The next sentence is also similar in structure. Al-Arabiyyatu lughatun jamilatun. Arabic is a beautiful language. لغة جميلة here is the man'ut and na'at combination. Next we have عمار طالب مجتهد ومحمود طالب كسلان. Ammar is a hard-working student and Mahmud is a lazy student. Here we have the ism mujtahidun and kaslanu both coming as na'at to talibun in their respective sentences. As we learned in the beginning of the tutorial, the ism kaslanu is nakira, indefinite ism. But because it is diptote, it doesn't end with tanween. Let's read the next few sentences. Man anta? Who are you? Ana talibun. I am a student. أأنت طالب جديد? Are you a new student? نعم أنا طالب جديد. Yes, I'm a new student. Can you find the nat in these sentences? جديد, right? جديد is coming as nat for طالب in the last two sentences. Very good. I think we're done with this text. Let me go back and read the whole text for you without any interruptions this time so you get to practice your listening skills. So sit back and try to understand what I'm reading, okay? من هذا الرجل؟ هو عباس. عباس تاجر. عباس تاجر غني. حامد مدرس. حامد مدرس جديد. ما هذا؟ هذا تفاح. التفاح فاكهة لذيذة. ما ذلك؟ ذلك عصفور. العصفور طائر صغير. العربية لغة سهلة. العربية لغة جميلة. عمار طالب مجتهد ومحمود طالب كسلان. من أنت؟ أنا طالب. أأنت طالب جديد؟ نعم أنا طالب جديد. All set with the text, and we have already done exercise 1. Let's jump to exercise 2 now. In this exercise, we are instructed to fill in the blanks with the suitable na'at. If you notice, these are all simple ismiya sentences with mubtada and khabar. And we should come up with the proper na'at for the khabar of each sentence, okay? Let's start with the first sentence. Khadijatu talibatun. What do we want to use as a na'at for talibatun? Let's say she's a new student. New in Arabic is jadidun, but we want to use the mu'annath form of jadidun, which is jadidatun. So together, the sentence is Khadijatu talibatun jadidatun. Khadija is a new student. Sentence 2. Khalidun tajirun. We can use kabirun or ghaniyun. Let's use ghaniyun here. So Khalidun tajirun ghaniyun means Khalid is a rich trader. Sentence 3. Al-Arabiyatu lughatun. As we just read in the text before this exercise, we can use sahlatun. I hope none of us think Arabic is sa'batun or difficult. So with sahlatun, our sentence will be Al-Arabiyatu lughatun sahlatun. Arabic is an easy language. The next sentence is also what we just read in the text. Al-Usfuru ta'irun. Should I put kabirun or saghirun here in the blank? Saghirun, right? So al-usfuru ta'irun saghirun means the sparrow is a small bird. Or if you think the sparrow is a beautiful bird, you could have said al-usfuru ta'irun jamilun. Actually, we can say at-tawusu ta'irun jamilun. The peacock is a beautiful bird, if you have seen one of those peacocks displaying its train or tail feathers like this. Why don't we write down this sentence here? At-tawusu ta'irun jamilun. The peacock is a beautiful bird. Sentence 5 should also be familiar because we just read them in the text. At-tufahu fakihatun. And we should say delicious fruit. Do you remember what the word delicious is in Arabic? It is ladhidun. Now because we are using this na'at for mu'annath ism, fakihatun, we should use the feminine form which is ladhidatun. So together, at-tufahu fakihatun ladhidatun. The apple is a delicious fruit. Sentence 6. أنا مدرس. We can use, for example, جديد or قديم as نعت for مدرس. Let's use قديم since we already used جديد once. Notice this sentence is coming with مذكر اسم مدرس. So this sentence is for male teachers. Now, how about female teachers? How can female teachers say, I'm an old teacher in Arabic? They should say, أنا مدرسة قديمة. See, for males, both منعوت and نعت مدرس and قديم are مذكر. And for females, مدرسة and قديمة are both مؤنث. These are good example sentences to observe how the jins or the gender of the nat is following the jins of the منعوت. Sentence 7. محمد طبيب. For a doctor, let's say famous. In Arabic, famous is شهير. So together we have محمد طبيب شهير. Muhammad is a famous doctor. Sentence 8. الإنجليزية لغة. What do you think? Is English easy or hard? Let's pretend it is difficult, even some of us may not think so. We will then use صعبة, which is difficult. Together, الإنجليزية لغة صعبة means English is a difficult language. Next sentence is a question. أأنت طالب? Can you think of a suitable nat for طالب here? I guess we can make use of the DIPTOTE ism كسلان that we just learned recently. So أأنت طالب كسلان means, are you a lazy student? And the final sentence. القاهرة مدينة. You can use كبيرة or جميلة in this blank. I'm going to put كبيرة here. So we have القاهرة مدينة كبيرة. القاهرة or Cairo is a big city. Okay, we are at the end of exercise 2. Let's end our video here. I hope you are starting to feel good about the concept of nat and man'ut in Arabic sentences. InshaaAllah, we'll see plenty more example sentences involving nat in the remaining exercises of the lesson, which we will go through in the next few videos. Until the next time, Assalamu alaikum.